All right, everyone. So welcome to Saturday's meals. Earlier you saw I just had the bagels. We both just had bagels for breakfast, and that's all we ate today. So it is supper time. We got these restaurant steaks, and we had 2 brats left from last night, so I'm just grilling out the steaks. We actually had other plans for the steaks, but that didn't pan out, so I figured just grill them out. What we should have done yesterday is done the whole beer and brats in the Hot Logic. That way we wouldn't have had to grill out again and save that charcoal. And then we could have just plugged them into the Hot Logic and they could have just stayed warm all day. But that didn't happen, so I got to flip the burgers. It doesn't take long for these to cook because they're so thin. So that's our supper for this Saturday night. Oh, and I just want to thank Linda again. Linda sent us this grill and charcoal and lighter fluid. I love this grill. One, I don't have to bend down to the ground with the grill we had before. And 2, I've got so much space in here, I'm not limited on how many burgers I can get on there. So thank you again, Linda, for this wonderful setup. All right, everyone. So here is our breakfast for this Sunday morning. Last night I grilled out those restaurant steaks, so we had 1 left, so we just split it up. So we have steak and eggs for breakfast and some toast. And we are eating some homemade strawberry jam that was sent to us in friend mail. So Courtney sent us some onion jam that you can put on your hamburgers or whatever. So there's some onion jam. She sent over some marmalade, homemade marmalade for Glenn. That was very kind of her. And some strawberry jam. This strawberry jam is really good, Courtney. I love it. Glenn loves it too. So thank you so much, Courtney, for sending us some homemade jam. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and eat, and I will be back with you guys in a little bit. All right, everyone, so it's Sunday afternoon now, and I am making Glenn some more pickled hot eggs, or hot pickled eggs. So I hard-boiled 11 eggs. I've got 7 in a jar with some jalapenos. What I did was put some jalapenos at the bottom, layered 3 eggs, put jalapenos on top of those, layered 3 more, and put more jalapenos, and then the last one there. Got to leave a little bit of room for the juice, which is on the stove, and it's a mixture of vinegar and water, 3 parts vinegar to 1 part water, and then I'm going to throw some cayenne pepper in there and shake it up. So I did leave 4 hard-boiled eggs for myself. I like to eat them. So yeah, he went through that last batch, and the only thing different we're doing on this one is we're not putting any pepperoncinis. So, alright, so I'm waiting for that to boil so I can throw them in here. I'll use this funnel. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Alright, everyone, so I'm going to go ahead and pour this in now. Alright, let's put some cayenne pepper in that. We're going to do a tablespoon. That's quite a bit. Let's close it up and shake it up. Whew. That's quite red. Alright, so we're just going to let those come to room temperature before we put them in the refrigerator. Alright, so there you have it. Pretty simple. And he likes that recipe, so there it is. Alright, everyone, so I am making supper, and it's Sunday evening, so this is the last meal I'll be cooking this weekend. and that'll wrap up our weekend of meals video. So I am making 2 separate suppers today, and I'll be making the first one right now, and I am making this for Glenn. He is having meatloaf with scalloped potatoes. So I'm going to put the because I'm going to make a much smaller meatloaf, I'm going to go ahead and put the scalloped potatoes in first. Alright, so I'm going to use an 8x8 casserole dish. So I am just going to go ahead and start putting it together. And this is how, I believe this is how Glenn's mom made it. So everybody will make it different. So this is his family's recipe. Alright, I'm just going to put some potatoes on the bottom here. I've got my oven preheated to 350. And then I'm going to throw some onions in. And some bacon. And I'm going to put the bacon in raw. And I'm going to put it between the 2 layers of potatoes because he does not want it crunchy. So if it's in the middle, it's just going to say stay rubbery or soft or whatever. Hope you all had a good weekend. The start of a new week. Have to get my meal plan done. Today's the first day of the week, but we already know what we're having here on the first day. And this will be for today and tomorrow, so this will take care of the first 2 days of the week. Alright, we got the bacon in there. We're going to just throw some salt and pepper on that. The bacon's going to give us some salt, so we'll just put more pepper. Alright, so we're going to throw the last of the potatoes on top. And we'll salt and pepper those. That pepper always gets to me. Alright. Alright, now we're just going to pour some milk in until the potatoes are submerged, meaning the potatoes are covered. I'm going to leave it like that right now because the bacon is going to create some grease in there, and that's probably going to make it rise a little bit. So I'll go back and check it after a half hour or so and see how much it rises, and then I'll put more milk in if it needs to. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this. It should take about an hour to cook, but I'll check it in a half hour to put more milk in there if I need to. Alright, so then I'll be back to start on the meatloaf. Alright everyone, so I gotta get the meatloaf going. So I am mixing a pound of ground beef for the meatloaf, but I'm only going to use partial of it. So a normal size loaf pan is too much for one person. Even there's way too much left after 2 nights. So he just wants it in a smaller loaf pan. So this is the size of pretty much my hand. And that should be the perfect size for 2 nights for meals. And then what I'm going to do with the rest of the raw meat that's mixed in with all the meatloaf stuff is just freeze it for another time. I know you can make the whole thing and then freeze half of it, but sometimes we just don't like the texture of some stuff when it thaws out. So and this is going to be one of those. So we're just going to freeze whatever we don't use in the ground beef. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to throw in some onion. Alright, so I'm going to throw in a 1/4 cup of milk and 1 1/4 cups of breadcrumbs and 2 eggs. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put some gloves on because I'm just going to mix it with my hands. And then once I got it all mixed up, I'm going to go ahead and throw the salt and pepper in there because, yeah, there's no room right now. It'll just be all over the breadcrumbs. But let me get some gloves on and we'll get this mixed up. Alright. Yeah, should have had a bigger bowl. I'm kind of lost without that bowl that broke. I do have bigger bowls than this, but, and I know some people put like mustard or ketchup or barbecue sauce in their meatloaf mixing, but he wants it a little tighter, so less fluids. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish mixing this up and then I'll be right back. Alright everyone, so I've got it mixed up and I've got it packed in the loaf pan. This is a glass one. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven, and then this is how much we have left. So I'll see how many more. I'll actually just freeze it like that, and then yeah, we can use it another time. So alright, I'm going to get this in the oven and I'll be back. Alright everyone, so the meatloaf and the scalloped potatoes are almost done. Meanwhile, I have the chicken cooking for my chicken Alfredo and I have the water going. I'm going to use some bow tie noodles. And some of this stuff is pantry items, some of it stuff is what we had in the fridge or on the pantry. Freezer or pantry. The chicken is from the pantry. It's one of those packs where they wrap 5 individual chicken breasts. They're not too big, but I used 2 of those out of the pack, so that's pantry. I know we received some of these from the pantry, but we've also received them in a grocery friend mail, so I'm not sure which is which. The Alfredo sauce, as big as this one is, I think we got that from grocery haul friend mail, and the broccoli florets as well. So we're using a combination of things. Alright, so just waiting for the water to boil so I can get those in. Once those are in, or once the chicken's done, I'll be adding Alfredo sauce and then adding the broccoli and just adding the bow ties last. So alright, 2 different meals, one night, and the last night of the weekend of meals. Alright everyone, so here is my chicken Alfredo. I just dumped in the bow ties and the chicken I had in there. So I'm going to let it simmer for a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and cover it, let it simmer for a little bit so that the broccoli can get a little softer. So other than that, it's all done and I'll be eating in a little bit. So alright, so I will be back when it's done. Alright everyone, so here is my chicken Alfredo. So yeah, it's done, and I tell you, there's enough left for probably 2 to 3 more servings, so I might get a lot out of this deal. Alright, so there it is. And that's going to do it for this weekend of meals. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch my videos. And thank you for all the support on the channel. And with that, remember to live life, be good to yourself, and be good to others. Until next time.